Right before the Prime Minister's speech, I was posing a question to Fui K Soong on subsidy, and suddenly we had to go to Parliament. And then you're the sole representative of Sabah to today. Now, maybe you can comment on subsidy, targeted subsidies, and also in the budget there were also lots of things for Sabah. Yeah.
I think the previous speaker, Datuk, has already addressed, I think, the reasons for reversing the subsidy mentality, in the sense that, we've inherited from pre-independence days, and it's almost an addiction to subsidies as if it's a God-given right. I think looking at the large ticket items like fuel subsidies and utilities and things like this, I think we've done the right thing in this budget by making sure that we actually upgrade a lot of the infrastructure, old infrastructure, to make sure they actually deliver the services that it's intended to, rather than huge structures, new buildings, new power plants, and so on and so forth. But I think there is some element of discipline in this budget, in terms of I think leading by example, that there's got to be some reining in of expenditure. And it's very different from the election budget that we saw last year, which was full of giveaways and stuff like that. So this is a very sane budget, and I like it. And I think the other aspect of this budget that I like is I think there's always been from a Sabah viewpoint, especially East Malaysia, the whole issue of cabotage policy that's always been very controversial, and it's now being addressed, and it's called Price Uniformity Program, in which that there will be subsidies. However, the downside is that instead of removing the cabotage policy, we're actually compensating it by 331 million worth of subsidies to be able to uniformize the prices between goods and services between Sabah, Sarawak, and the Peninsula. So I think that one is different from the Sabah viewpoint. Upgrading of infrastructure, I think, is very important in Sabah. I think a lot of Sabahans, or maybe perhaps West Malaysians, get the wrong impression that Sabahans or Sarawakians necessarily want huge developments in terms of urbanization. We do want development, but not rapid urbanization. So things like power supply, reliable power supply, clean water, reliable supply of water is very, very important, because once you have these structures in place, then you have your ecotourism, and all these opportunities will flourish. But we need that stability in terms of supply of energy and water. And I think there should have been a lot more indigenous content in terms of Sabah's development, and balancing social issues of development while driving high income in the East Malaysia is very important, because you don't want a rapid development, urbanization, and you drive people from the rural areas to the urban areas. We've learned all these kind of lessons learned from the 70s and 80s. That is something that we should avoid. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more resources being poured into national security, because border issues, cross-border issues, national security issue is a problem in Sabah, and perhaps that's a little bit too micro. I think that's pretty much from me. Thanks.